Hello, everybody. Sorry for the slightly late start. Man, I haven't even popped in yet. How about that? There we go. Yeah, we are ready to go ahead and get started. Had to get my coffee. It's still not even done. It's just kind of brewing. But we are ready for another round of the Great Ace Attorney, and we're going to see if we can get through this whole trial. I think this trial is actually 2 parts, but one of them might be a bit on the shorter side, so we're going to see if we can muscle through it. We are coming off a 4-hour-plus corpse party stream, so there's been quite a bit of YouTubing and Twitch streaming today, but I think I'm good for it. I'm still doing well. I'm well fed. I'm reasonably well rested. And I am really looking forward to seeing how this trial finishes up. Last stream on Monday, we had a bit of scuffery. For those of you who watched that, you know that I actually got stuck at one point. I was trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to be spraying with my stupid budget luminol. And there was this one little patch of the ground that I didn't spray, that I didn't get. And that was just kind of the bottleneck there, the thing that stopped me from getting anywhere. And I had to watch another stream real quick to figure that out. And when we tried doing something else first, we actually ended up not even streaming the image because I accidentally had the scene wrong and the sound muted. But it was all good because we ended up doing it over anyway, and that's fine. So it was all there, but we definitely had about a 20-minute stretch of just not getting a whole lot done. Oh well, it happens. That's what happens when you live stream blind. And we are blind in this game now. We are past the point where we have any idea what the hell is going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more real quick break to grab my coffee that is brewing. I'm going to grab another little sparkling water, and we're going to get right into it. So give me 2 seconds. I will be right back. All right, here we go. As I have said in another stream, the stream starts when I've got my coffee. No later, and definitely no earlier. Let us get into this. Oh, butts. Hang on a second. Let me just fix this real quick. Dun-dun-dun. Let's see. That should be correct. I think that should be correct. Why is that not correct? All right, let me do this real quick. I want to get rid of that little text box. I keep saying that I've got to fix things up for Twitch because I want to do certain things as far as notifications and stuff like that. And it's going to take a little bit to figure that out. But at the same time, there we go. Okay, what the hell was wrong with that? That was a literal copy paste. Okay, whatever. It works now. Carrying on. Oh, that's not what I want to see right off the bat. Soseki, get out of my screen. Thank you. Wait, why did that auto? Don't auto. Okay. I'm also playing with the resolution again. Things were a little bit too blurry with the way things were going before, so now I'm going with a slightly different setup, but I'm pretty sure things are still going to be okay as far as just frame rate and stuff. But we will find out. Things seem all right as I'm looking at the stream. It's a little choppy, but it's livable. This is it then, Naruhodo-san. We'll say Naruhodo-san because it's just us Japanese here right now. Yes, it's time to put an end to this now. Oh, I forgot to mention some predictions about this stuff. I'm thinking, because we're dealing with Mr. What the hell's his name in this version? It's not Shamspear. It's Penna whatever. This dude. Pretenshi, yeah. So I'm just trying to come up with some theories about what the hell's going on. I'm feeling like Mr. Pretenshi here, he was maybe an associate. We don't have the other fella, of the mass murderer fella who used to live in the apartment that Soseki is currently in. So we got this fella here who moved in after... He lived here about a year. And he moved in after the mass murderer dude... No, actually, no, it wasn't even a mass murderer. It was a robber, I think. It was... Yeah, he was a gem thief, because they mentioned something about that. And he'd been put in jail, and this guy moved into his old apartment. And about 9-ish months later, the guy passed away because of a cold or a fever in prison or whatever, just before he could even be fully sentenced or what have you, or hung, or whatever the hell you do with gem thieves or people that steal as much money as he did. And when the guy passed away, Pretenshi tried to get into his old apartment, like tried to move in, and Garrett said, "Nuh-uh, no way," this dude here. And then this guy eventually passed away, but the funny thing is, Soseki moved in almost immediately. And now, this guy, what I'm thinking is, because we found some stuff that sort of ties this guy to the jewel thief, I have a funny feeling that maybe that thief, the guy who died in prison, Sendel I think his name was, something like that, I think he left a stash somewhere. And pretend she knew about it in some way. Maybe he was an old partner or associate, or he just heard about it from another person in jail that he was acquaintances with. Who the hell knows how he came by that info. So he tried to move into that apartment because he wanted to search the place because he thought or knew it was in there. But he couldn't because good boy Duncan was there. So he killed Duncan by playing with the gas pipes in some way, flooding the room with gas, putting the pilot light out. We know that's how Duncan died. Literally says, died of gas poisoning. But before he could even move in there, Soseki appeared. And now he's trying to get Soseki in trouble so that he can get him thrown out and have the apartment. That's the only reason I can think of for this guy lying. Because if Soseki's innocent, which I don't see why he wouldn't be if we're, from the way that Ace Attorney works and how this trial is going. Granted, sometimes we're defending someone who isn't innocent. But Soseki seems like he's completely free and clear here. But the only reason why this guy would lie about it is if he's trying to get, partly to cover his own ass because he's been stealing gas, but to frame Soseki to get him thrown out. And I think Miss Green is part of this too in some way. Like maybe she's part of it, which is why I pretend she visited her in the hospital. But also when Sendel's article came up, when we saw him in the newspaper, I specifically said, is that Miss Green's dad? Because they definitely, it was a blurred image, but they did seem to share a resemblance. So I wonder if she's acquaintances in some way too. Because why have her even be so prominent in the investigation if she doesn't tie in some way? So something along those lines. I'm still a little unclear about certain things. I'm a little unclear about certain handprints, like the handprints against the painting. I don't know what that's about. I have a feeling maybe it has something to do with playing with the gas because it's right there, and how he might be trying to kill Soseki. I don't know. Actually, let's see. Wait a second. When does it say? Oh, so he passed away a month ago. Soseki only moved in a week ago, actually. So maybe what accounts for the 3-week gap? I'm not sure. I wonder if that'll be elaborated on. But anyway, my theories run along those lines. I have a feeling that Pretenshi, obviously there's no murderer in this case. It's just a question of whether Soseki tried to murder Pretenshi. But I think Pretenshi is just framing him for that to get him in trouble, to get him out of the apartment. And Pretenshi is actually responsible for the death of Duncan. So that's kind of the premise I'm operating on at the moment. We'll see how accurate it is. Time to put a curse to an end to this miserable curse. Oh yeah, I have to do voices again. That has been plaguing Mr. Natsume to everything. When I was playing Corpse Party, it's my second time through the game trying to get different endings and go to the true ending, so I was skipping a lot. I gotta remember, I can't skip here. I'm actually voicing stuff. I'm not just reading. So. And in my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you. Yay! You're not a small help. You kind of carry, Susato. Let's just be honest. I always appreciate your help, Susato-san. Suffering! Soseki, socially sidelined! Well, yeah, because you're annoying. Ah. Good morning to you, too, Soseki-san. Good morning! Good morning! Welcome, student! Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Lazarioto! Chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here. I'm the main player, not you. Why would you do that? Why? Because you're annoying. Oh dear. We didn't mean to cause offense, Soseki-san. I thought perhaps that because you had your eyes shut so tightly, you were meditating, finding intercom. Does this look like a man who knows anything about intercom? Does this look like a man who can spell intercom? Intercom? What's that? Yeah, he's more of an intercom, actually. Soseki, I need to communicate something to everything in the building. Read this paper as loud as you can. It seemed wrong to disturb you. I was waiting! What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Why, naturally. That's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. I am a cat. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own death. Or such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut. He was just imagining it in his mind. He was playing a mini-game like the Danganronpa protagonists when they're surfing or driving over hookers. I missed the signs, I'm afraid. Somehow. Sorry. You'll have to forgive me. And you mustn't talk of your path leading you to death, Mr. Soseki-san. That was just an example! Oh, yeah, there it is. Intercom. Yeah, like I was saying. No, I think intercom is more like it. The human intercom. On the left is intercom. On the right is intercom. You barely came to see me at all yesterday. We were investigating. I was sure you'd abandon me and return me to our beautiful long-lost homeland. We've not even been in Great Britain a week yet. Oh yeah, that's true. His first trial was a couple of days ago, and our first trial was a couple of days before that. Yeah, well, anyway, I intend to set everything straight in court today. I'm determined to uncover the truth. I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh, what sort of decision? I shall fill you in after the trial. Well, that's not a death flag. All right. Don't burn to death in a carriage or anything. It would seem. Mr. Holmes isn't coming today after all. It's a very clever message, I think. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits. Is that how you're going to interpret that? It's a very clear message, I think, that he's overslept again. The great detective? My arch nemesis. Long may he stay away, if you ask me. I didn't push the intercom button, Saseki. Shut up. Defendant and your legal representative. I keep forgetting. It's a different ball beat every time. The trial is about to begin. Make your way into the courtroom immediately. I don't even know what kind of accent this is. It's like my face is melting. I've just been to the dentist and my face is full of Novocaine. Today, once again, we face the Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. Boy, I really hope that's not a running thing, because that would suck, considering how these games usually go. Whoops, I skipped this text. Hang on a second. But I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Saseki's curse. I don't know, man. My Gundle's carriage burned pretty good. The truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. We'll see how close Psy'Min is. I have to keep believing in my client and keep fighting till the very end. That's all. Oh, this is going to be our first trial with a second part. I'm assuming the jury is going to be the same. It's probably the same jury members, right? Looks like it. Yep, all right. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. Ho, ho, ho. I call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. Yeah, the defense is ready. Very good. And now I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury, chosen by lot to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to proceed? Absolutely. Justice will be done. You mark my words. I feel obliged to say, I'm feeling especially ruthless on days when my hat is sitting just right. Wasn't it yesterday it was like feeling ruthless when her hat is off? I can't remember. Oh, well, I wonder if you could adjust my hat for me. And please be as ruthless as you like. Thieves deserve to die, if you ask me. Especially gas thieves. I've no sympathy for the man at all. Look, I said it yesterday. I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I've got my own problems. What? Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today. Now, Lord Van Zeeks, what can you tell us? Nothing. The prosecution's report, please, for the court, in relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday regarding the defendant's tea. Oh, yeah, we need to find out whether this... I'm assuming the medallion is poison, because if it's not, the trial ends. So he does have the results. A toast to how fucked you are. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the black tea belonging to the black guard in the dock. Pray, allow me a moment to savor a liquid of a more sanguine hue. In fact, I'll defer to the good detective for the report. Here's to you, Inspector. Do I get any of that alcohol? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen reddish liquid in a little depression on the top of it. Yeah, that's the tea. That's what Mr. Natsume brought with him that night. Well, the brains at the yard analyzed it, and yes, you're right. It was tea. But... and there wasn't a trace of strychnine or any other toxin substance in it. Well then. Okay. So what's the angle here? I didn't. Soseki didn't poison him. What's the issue? No poison at all. In other words, the tea that the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear. The tea is innocent. The tea that the defendant brought is innocent. Okay, what about the defendant? What a revelation. But... I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. But... this makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Bugger nuggets. My learned friend is jumping to conclusions again. A typical Nipponese reaction. What? Yes, it's true. No poison was found in the few drops of liquid recovered from the soap in the window ledge. But what logic is that? What do you mean, what logic is that? Would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean isn't salty? What? What? The tea wasn't poisoned. Unfit for drinking. Just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Wait. What's the... what? Unfit for drinking? Bitter was the precise word from the lips of Mr. Pretensy, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. Wait, what's going on? The tea wasn't poisoned. End of story. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's request. Mr. Pretensy. Yeah, it sounds like we're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend. Oh yeah, we saw another thing I was going to say that's kind of lending me to think Pretensy's a bit of a murderer. Was we saw a glimpse into his breakdown at one point when we were in the hospital in Miss Green's room. He bent his scepter and got a little bent out of shape himself. He's going to get a little bit mad at some point. Show Mr. Pretensy to the stand. Anyone else going to join him? Just him? Mr. William Pretensy, the victim of this despicable crime. What crime? There was no poison. Dick. Oh, heaven! Oh, hell! Do you command me to remember? Forsooth, 'twas I, Pretensy, did have a bellyful of the foul fluid given in mine innocence. Yes, but as was revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we had perhaps first been led to believe. By using bars of soap such as this, he has been stealing gas from the supply company. Yes. One may smile and be a villain. Forsooth, 'twas I, Pretensy, did have a room full of the sweet fuel given. Is that a admission or... That's right, fellow jurors, don't forget, this man is a rotten thief. I haven't forgotten, keeping all that about the coins, ice coins, tight a secret, didn't you? Should own up sooner. Arrest him, I say. Arrest him at once, and let him feel the sting in my tail. Yes, we know you're a bee. Oh, indeed. By dint of vile and cowardly means have I plotted to further mine own ends, I confess. Okay, fine, he's confessing. Thou wouldst not pardon my sins, of that I am sure. This guy's like more animation than anyone else just because of how animated he is. If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing here? Because we know you're all full of crap and stuff. Cowards die many times before their deaths, and for a coward such as I, death be well deserved, but would it that a single greater crime passed unpunished? For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman of farther east than Verona did contrive to poison me. Witness my horsey dance. But there was no poison in the tea found in your room. The police have attested to that. What's the spin here? What the defense would assert as an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. This should be good. Is that not so, Mr. Pretensy? Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak as soon as someone gets the cattle prod out of my ass. Very well. Let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. No kidding, because they went on. They went on, good sirs, yesterday, about how there was no way this guy could have gotten tea or gotten poison in his system, except for via the tea. So, no tea, but, yeah. Is he going to blame the gas now? Like we somehow, or not we, but Soseki somehow turned on the gas on him? I don't know. The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Whilst feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Thus 'tis no surprise that the poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the moulds of soap. I mean, it's a pretty theory, but as the prosecution would demand of me, where's your evidence? Huh? The poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. The normal way for poison to be administered, in my experience. Quite. Otherwise it would be disastrous if the poisoner were to mix up the cups, for instance. But no poison bottle was found at the scene. Because, quite simply, the Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. And you have this bottle? I would like to see this bottle. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide. I knew that. Still waiting for evidence. By now it should be perfectly clear. A bar or two of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accused's hands. This is like the worst example of double standards I've ever seen in this series, and that's really saying something. Sirs, madams, 'tis true that I pretend she be a common thief of gas. Oh, there's the breakdown starting. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. Wherefore would I lie? Verily I have no cause. I have naught to lose. Well, I already came up with a theory for that. Well, I do declare. Thank you for your testimony, witness. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. I don't even remember what this guy said. I was too busy being highfalutin in my voicing. The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. Confirmed. Soseki's already admitted it. 'Twas in my cup alone. We don't have evidence against this. I still think they need to provide evidence, but we do have the two cups that are very different, and that still hasn't played into anything, so I'm curious how that will account. I mean, if anything, it should prove that Soseki, well... No, it proves that Soseki did drink his tea, wouldn't it? Because if he didn't drink it, then it would leave a ring, but his cup had no ring. I wonder if that'll be the contradiction. While feigning distraction in our debate, yeah, I saw the handprints, you guys. I'm still a little suspect about what you guys are up to. Ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. Oh, that might be what we throw those cups at. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make ice. 'Tis no surprise the poison be not found. Blah, blah, blah. Very cute story. So it's been proven that there was no poison in Soseki's tea. That should be hugely in our favor. But the atmosphere in this courtroom today, it feels as though everyone is against us, Mr. Naruhodo. It must be the Reaper's poison. I'm afraid that if we don't find a significant flaw in this testimony somewhere, aside from the fact that it is 110% conjecture, holy crap, this bloody hypocrite, the jury will pounce and find Mr. Natsume guilty. It really feels like we've jumped into the fire here. Not really, but let's press crap anyway. Hold it! Hold it, asshole. I understand that you were already acquainted with Mr. Natsume, is that correct? I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Do I know thee, or I know thee not? Methinks 'tis all I can know that thy destiny mingles with mine. So is that a yes? You lost me at the first thee. I know we're in England, but good God, sir. Zounds, sir, thou must learn the English tongue afore thou turns thy hand to lawyering. thy thou this does. I did, but I must have missed the archaic Elizabethan lecture. Verily and in truth, 'twas a fine flavoured brew, though a drop of poison did barb its sweetness, as the thorn did barb the sweet rose. That, dear friends, be the simple truth. Listen to Mr. Pretentious. He seems in even better form than he was yesterday. How can you tell? Either that or I'm in worse form. That fated evening, after I did dine, at Grubb's Grubbery, a local alehouse of good report, not with a name like that, naught did pass my lips but the tainted black tea. But behold, the poison was not in the tea at first. Horsey, horsey, horsey. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Whoops! And thus you wickedly skip my text. Are you saying that you saw the moment when the poison was added to your tea? To have witnessed the act and then drank the tea? Thou dost describe the actions of a fool. Yes, pretty much. Quite so, quite so. But no one likes going thirsty, do they? Sooner would I die quenched than parched. Would I have the choice? Okay, good to know. Actually, on the night in question, the water main was frozen, I believe, wasn't it? Were it not for the tea, in sooth, I would sooner have died frozen than quenched or parched. Right. No ice coins means no heating. Yeah, that's right. We're just assuming this is part of his day now. Stealing gas. The witness had more than one brush with death on the night in question, it seems. Whoops. Remind the court, Mr. Pretentious, as to whether the accused drank any of the tea which he brought with him. With the greatest of pleasure, my liege. While feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. Again, I feel like this is where the cups come up. Dang it, I did it again. We'll see. Let's press everything as we do. But the teacup Mr. Natsume drank from was found completely empty at the scene. And let's not forget the defendant's maxim, drink tea while it's hot. That's come up a lot. Every time this game pounds on something, it becomes really important at some point. It's like when they chanted Maximilian's 3 signature looks things. Anyway, I did gulp from the poisoned cup that night, and in mine agony did I writhe uncontrolled. Hang on, was this... No, that is the first thing he said, even though the ellipsis was there. In fits of pain I did knock the fellow's cup and its contents spilt, as blood from a gaping wound, methinks. Though certainly, 'twas after I had made the coins of ice from his tea. Oh, we're getting a really convoluted timeline here. An upset cup was found on the table that the victim was slumped over. There is no contradiction here. It's true there was no tea left in either cup that we found at the scene. But still, something about this statement is troubling me. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, of course, I know what it is. It's Mr. Natsume's wise drink tea while it's hot maxim, isn't it? No, I'm not sure that's it. I'm not sure that's it, is Suzuto's polite, no, idiot. Now reiterate for the court what it is that you occupied you after your guest had left him before you drank your tea. Well, I thought for sure I was going to get to choose something there, because something there was weird. I think that just reinforces that's the statement I have to object to, but as we go. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. No skipping this time. Yeah, so that you could cheat the gas company, in fact. Isn't that right? To cheat or not to cheat? Oh, no. To cheat or to die, 'tis life's only choice. Yeah. Faith, to cheat be the wise choice, and mine occupation be not an ugly one. Prithee, dost thou not see beauty in the simplicity of the ruse? No, I don't. And be very sure, sir, once this trial is over, Altamont Gas will take you to the skipping of the text. Will take you to task over this legal task. I shall not run, I shall not hide. Sooth to say, I have nowhere to run, nor to hide. But, my lady, what wouldst thou with this pitiful player? Oh, I tell you what I'd like to do with you, starting with the shoddy shirt on your back. 'Tis time for a pretensy dance! Yay! Pretensy dance, pretensy dance! Look at my pretensy dance! What a harsh world we live in. He seems happy. The thieving of the gas was addressed in yesterday's proceedings. The prosecution calls on the defense not to muddy the waters with irrelevancy. Consider that a warning, counsel. Yeah. Why am I the one in trouble here? Van Zeeks is the one full of conjecture today. Mr. Pretensy, after the accused... What is my... Okay, hang on. I got an itchy finger today. I'm just clicking everything. Mr. Pretensy, after the accused returned to his own lodgings, you used his tea to make your coins. Is that correct? To cheat or to die, I did make my choice many moons ago. Thus, 'tis no surprise that poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the mounds of soap. If, having first made your special coins, it was after 2 in the morning when you collapsed, that would mean you can't have drank any tea yourself until around that time. Once ensnared by literary debate, naught else be found in the furrows of the mind. The debate about Romeo and Juliet, you mean? The MMA fight? And who was the stronger of the two? Rightly did I pay no heed to the tea as I wrestled with the abominable fellow. I don't remember debates like that when I was studying. This is that new Romeo and Juliet remake. Are you suggesting that neither of you actually drank the tea while it was hot that evening? My lord, wouldst thou be privy to some pretensian wisdom? Drop it on me. Husband, wife, and tea ought a tepid be. That was terrible. We should throw you in jail just for that. Ah, yes, so very true. Everyone has different preferences when it comes to tea. I think you might have interpreted that wrongly. Yeah, I have a preference when it comes to tea. It's called coffee. So it's been proven. But up. I don't think anything is different here. But I am full on my health. Ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. Okay, let's start looking over everything. First of all, well, no, hang on. I've already Go back. Can we go back? How about back? There we go. When I click too much, I go flying. When I forget to click, or when I click properly, it does nothing. The teacups used by Mr. Pretensy and Mr. Natsume. There's no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup. So does that not imply that he drank his quicker? That's what that would seem to me. I wonder if that's the thing. We got no new statements from pressing. Worthless. Probably not worth anything. Probably not worth anything. Potentially ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine. Toxic effects, blah, blah, blah. 1/3. Man, you waited a long-ass time to drink your tea, buddy. I'm not buying it. Worthless. Worthless for now. Yeah, Selden. A man now the death of convicted murder and burglar by natural causes, suffering with fever. Okay, so he was a burglar and a murderer. I was wrong and I was right. Worthless. I feel like tossing this at this statement because this doesn't make sense. And it's the only thing I can think of. Let's take a look here. In a pot. I'm going to roll with this. Let's see. That did it. Okay, good. It seemed like a reach. I wasn't sure if the game was going to buy it, but it's what we're going for. All right. You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question. But that's impossible. How, chop logic? Okay, there's another word for the pile of new stuff that I'm not sure exists. There's that dark-clad fiend again. Like, this seems like a typo. Dark-clad. That's not... Someone find Shakespeare, dig him up, and punch him in the face. How, chop logic? What is this, ye darky-clad fiend? The 2 key cups from the scene, one used by the victim and the other by the defendant, have a clear difference between them, one that represents incontrovertible proof. Incontrovertible? What difference? Look at the inside of the cups. Just here there's a clearly visible ring. Yes, a tea ring. Commonplace enough. Indeed, such stains occur all too readily when one leaves tea in the cup for a while. Yeah, so guess who didn't leave their tea in a cup for a while? And yet Mr. Natsume's cup had no such ring. Good Lord, you're right. It's completely clean. And prithee, sir, what makest thou of it? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday. The Japanese saying he quoted. Drink tea while it's hot. God, I should have called the stream that. That should be the name of this video. I'm going to go back and change it. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self that night and drank his tea in no time. Well, there's a face. Saith the bard. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well. After the several hours the tea was left standing. But, what a face. In short, Mr. Potenshi, you clearly lied to the court. Get the Dunanary! Fall backwards, fake a death, overdramatic scene. Eat my dick, Zanzeeks. You suck. As a rule, I fill my hallowed chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. Yeah, we noticed. You might want to keep that information to yourself. You drink more brandy than Gato drinks coffee. Oh, we already downed at the time it took me to say that. Damn. How are you still standing? Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me, and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating, but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Potenshi. Yes, my liege? Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from the leftover tea in the accused's cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Oh, you are just making stuff up now. Like, even the defendant doesn't know what you're on about. Can I just yell racism at this point? Can we just call it a day? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? A fact that had vanished from your memory until now. Lead the witness much? Faith, my liege, thou art a magician. For verily, 'tis as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night. What? Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked, 'twas empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot, as my liege did suggest. That doesn't explain the fact. And you just suddenly remembered now that you made a mistake before? Are we supposed to believe that? Well, where's the pot then? People's memories are imperfect, my learned friend. Which is why we rely on evidence instead. Okay, Captain Conjecture. But in any case, it makes no difference. Okay, Captain Conjecture. The victim's most recent testimony tells us two things of note. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And secondly, that this spoiled cup was not the source of the insipid ice coins that have bewitched this court. Okay, Captain Conjecture. The prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts. Furthermore, that testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts. In other words... Oh, crap. The inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. Oh, that's it. We're raising our power levels. Let's do this. No! What does this mean, then? It means he's making up crap. It means he's talking out of his British asshole. Apart from the bit about thieving gas, obviously. My lords, ladies, and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear, after I did dine at Grubb's Grubbery Alehouse that night, naught did pass my lips but the black tea given me by the Japanese, whose back be stooped as low as death. And on what did you dine, sir? Why, I did partake of my favourites, a broth, as wouldst be called soup, and a leaf, as wouldst be called salad. As insalubrious as menu as the establishment where it was served. As insalubrious. Yeah, something like that. But you gods would give us some faults to make us men. Willing will I suffer what punishment 'tis seen fit to serve a wicked thief of gas. But I pray ye wise and noble fellows ne'er forget the simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. You guys followed that? Jurors all, your humble servant Pretenshi doth entreat you. Punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. I'm going to assume this is Saseki. Nope. Oh, it's... Time for fireball spam. If I may speak, my lord. Yes, Mr. Foreman. I believe that we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer. Hey, wait a minute. By me? I do declare you may be right. Oh, we all know that the wife there was making coins of ice to keep himself warm. But this lawyer lad says if we steal the gas, he deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path. That's what he's been doing. I really never said anything like that. But what we just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again. Oh, has it now? We reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. You want to bet? The court acknowledges that the position of the jury foreman, and we'll duly hear the jury's findings. What? No! We can't do this mini-game already. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
Guilty. 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 Guilty.
Juror number 5's voice gets me every time. Everyone else's voice is perfectly normal for what they look like, and his is like, I am so delicate a chimney person. I hereby declare the jury to be in one accord. And that accord is stupid. Oh, do not dance like that. Stop. No, not a happy day. You've ruined my day. How is this happening? My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination. It's just a reflex at this point. 6 fireballs fly through the air before they even hit the thing. Summation examination! Blah! Very well. The court upholds the defense's right. Typical. My learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth. This has worked every time, you British fuck. Shut up. This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Jurors, the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defense guilty of the crime of which he is charged. Explain why you think he's naughty. I'm a man of logic, me, and having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty. That's not helpful. I do agree the gas is far too expensive. I can't quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. That's not really helpful either. Oh, the stuff exploded and it can poison you. That's absolutely lethal gases. That's not a reason either. Why did you vote guilty? You hate this guy. You're like the definition of a non-biased juror, and you still were just like, oh, he did it. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes. Truth be told, the tea my wife says up for me is a little sketchy at times. These are not reasons. If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? These are the worst yet. You all suck. I do feel that perhaps personal opinion about gas and its supply has influenced decisions. So, you think? Can we just get new jurors, please? But never mind. Actually, you know what? Never mind. If we randomly selected jurors from the 2 million people in Britain or whatever, we probably get the same 6 people again. No. You really should mind. Please mind. Minding is good. The truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we'd hoped. And Mr. Pretensky was poisoned. There can be no doubt of that. Then how are we supposed to turn this around? I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Pretensky was actually poisoned. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court incontrovertibly. But that's surely almost impossible at this stage. If we don't manage it, though, Mr. Natsume will be found guilty. No delays, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. Get this crap over with. Don't you grin at me behind my back, you son of a bitch. Okay, so... I mean... If he was... Do we know he was poisoned? Hang on a second. Blah, 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 blah. There's no... Third ingestion, highlights he was drinking, but no sample could be questioned. Poisoning. Do we know that there was strychnine? How did we test for this? Ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine. How was that tested for? I'm trying to remember what... Because if he was genuinely poisoned, like, would he have given himself a little bit of poison to frame Natsume? Is that possible, and can we offer that as a theory? Or is it possible that he was poisoned completely by someone else? Maybe even someone from the gas company who was sick of his nonsense. And then he just decided to leverage it, take advantage of it, to frame Saseki for all the reasons I said before. I don't know. I have a feeling this summation examination is going to be interesting. A man of logic, me. I never considered all the evidence. The defendant must logically be guilty. I do agree the gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. Oh, the stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver around the city and maintain the pipes. Truth be told, the tea my wife says up for me is a little sketchy at times. If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? This is hopeless. There's no way for me to appeal to these people. F it, I'm going to an IHOP. I do think that the only way we shall overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way in which Mr. Pretensky was really poisoned. We have to prove that it happened some other way, and not via Mr. Natsume's tea. Yeah, I know, the trouble is, I have absolutely no idea how it did happen. Me too. Mr. Naruhodo, I wonder if perhaps there's something you might have forgotten. Oh, like what? It's important to watch everyone involved and pursue people. Oh, okay, well, if you'd like to remind me exactly what I mean, I'd be more than happy to, of course. No, I don't need the tutorial. Saseki's fate is entirely in my hands here again. I probably owe it to my client to hear any advice my assistant may have to offer. Then again, no, I don't need a reminder. I guess this is trial 2, so we haven't done a pursuit yet. Have we done a pursuit this game? I don't think so. Actually, I don't think there's any need. It's vital that we start trying to change these jurors' mind as soon as possible. I don't have time for a tutorial. Of course, I'm sure you're right. But if you decide you want your memory refreshed, you need only ask, Mr. Naruhodo. What are you guys talking about? It's been 5 minutes. I'm a man of logic, and having considered all the evidence... Oh, what? Just interrupt me? Okay, dick. All the evidence, you say? That's right. And there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at the Japanese man with the big mustache. I still think this is all conjecture. I'm not letting that go. Says the Englishman with the bigger mustache. Which means we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind. If only we had that kind of evidence. Don't worry. This summation examination has barely started, really. Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light. Let's hope so. To start with, though, I need to find some way out of this deadlock. I do agree the gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man won't avoid paying. I wonder what piece of evidence. They've got me wondering now. Wouldn't be that, wouldn't be that, might be that. I don't think it's that. We just know where the envelope is from at this point. Probably not. Maybe. There could be something in there that's interesting. Might be, might be. That I'm still curious about. Probably not this or this. I'm also curious about that box that had nothing in it. What's going to be the thing there? We shall see. This isn't the time or the place to be discussing the price of gas, madame. But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas and air is free. Why should Altamont gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever. I'm Ruth the Ruthless. This isn't the time or the place to be ruthless either, Ruth. If I might interject here. Ah, yes, madame? It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkept moustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas, utterly unforgivable. Wrong person, Ruth. No, Mr. Natsume is the one who's been stealing gas. I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes. Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either, let's just be clear. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. It's as made up as the price of gas. Oh, the stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. What's that got to do with Jack? What has this got to do with anything? Could we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think, sir? Well, if you like. I mean, to be honest, I'll take poison over gas any time. You'd take poison? What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it? Goodness me. What are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man. Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. But I think you'll find poison also can't light or heat up a room. Ah, boy, you're pretty stupid, ain't you? Oh, you're right. I hadn't considered that I was stupid at all. Young lawyer man. Yes? You have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you as our company's legal representative. Well, I wasn't expecting to pick up more business in the middle of a trial, that's for sure. Hey, man, never turn down a referral, I'm telling you. Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past. That's all I get? None of this has changed? Ah, jeez, you guys are worthless. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the cities and maintain the pipes. Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? There's an all-out attack underway here, in case you hadn't noticed, against my company's gas. And I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so. She's really buzzing now. Oh, she's buzzing. She's buzzing like a bee. They'll make her poke you. All I've heard about our wonderful fuel is explosions and poisons. What about electricity, huh? What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison. Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madame. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable. My point exactly. But the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious retrobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know? More devious? Who, madame? Let's just go off on a tangent. Other gas companies, of course. Other gas companies? Not quite what I was expecting. We generate gas and we deliver it to our customers fair and square. Indeed, nobody's questioning that, madame. Altamont is an exemplary gas company. We'll just indulge you. But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all. But if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people? They just buy it from you and mark it up? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that. They steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible? Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. But these devious retrobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. Then they make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally. What a brazen form of theft. Did anyone remember that Saseki was on trial here? Did that slip? Is it just... No, just me? Just me? Okay. When we visit customers' houses to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies has been up to its tricks. I had no idea. Whoops. I tried to right-click to goof over, but, no, we get to do that right now. It might seem unbelievable, but it's happening all the time, right here in the capital. What in the hell is wrong with you? Oh my God, I got such an itch on the back of my head. Cry, could you take your umbrella and just scratch around back there? Do you have something to say about that, juror number 3? Because you look like an idiot. Oh, golly, you mean me? No other idiots around here? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Oh, I was just thinking of myself. I really did catch him off guard there. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct? Well, yes. I just got a little riled up about it recently, you see. Go on. An old-time gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipework. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in, and you know what he did? Afraid I have no idea. Please tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there. Oh, please. Everybody knows. But it's very nearly the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean? I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipelines. Yeah, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it? Obviously, there's gas in the pipes, and it's at a fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment. Oh, I see. In other words, if upon blowing into the pipe the lights of an adjacent property that have no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes. Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker. The trouble is, the particular worker who came by to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might, and you can guess what happened, can't you? Well, if he blew hard, then... Wait, you mean... That's right. Lights didn't just flicker. They went out, along with the stove. Gas started pouring into the house. Oh. Oh, I see, said the blind man to the deaf guy in the corner of the round room. What a disaster. The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out. I'm afraid I yelled at the fella. Are you trying to kill us all, I said. Hang on a second. You. Damn it. You. Okay. Oh, he's feeling up them pipes. Is it possible he gets up on a... Like, he wouldn't have any reason to lean here, though. Unless he was standing on a stool or something. Oh, is it because the lamp is there? Oh, he's taking the thing off the lamp and he's blowing into the lamp to put out the pilot light in Saseki's room because he's trying to get him killed, like I was saying before. Or at least that's how he did it to Duncan, even if he wasn't trying to do it to Saseki. But Saseki's pilot light keeps going out too, so I'm pretty sure he is. Whoops, not what I wanted. That's information for later, but good to know. Are you trying to kill us all, I said? So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yeah, this is almost certainly the clue that we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information because God knows the previous statement was useless. Oh, well, if you like. I don't mind. Well, I do. That's our company's secret method of identifying the... Like I said, madame, it's widely known already. Very well. Juror number 3 will amend your testimony accordingly. I've had a minimum of sparkling water all day. I gotta catch up. Ah, yes, my lord. Although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. Blow too hard into a gas pipe, and you extinguish everything in the house, and then you're in real trouble.
Hold it!
When you say extinguish everything in the house, do you mean even on different floors? Oh, yes. All floors are connected to the same pipe after all. That's true of every building, because gas supply contracts are issued for whole properties. Well, I had no idea that it was possible to extinguish gas appliances simply by blowing down the pipe. It's not something we like to publicize, to be honest, but we have to carry out these investigations, as I'm sure you can appreciate. Indeed. It has been mentioned on more than one occasion in the papers, even. Is that so? It's been mentioned to me, too, very recently. An incident involving the gas stove going out inexplicably, almost leading to someone's death. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yeah, it's finally starting to fall into place. The secret link that joins all these strange occurrences. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to utilize them in this summation examination, but yeah, it's going to come up. Do I press you again? Because we never got all the way through it. Can we please refrain from all the talk of gas? Let's fast forward here a little bit. She's really buzzing. A little explosion here and there. You know, no biggie. Other gas companies, of course. Nobody's questioning that, madame. But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all. What? Let's fast forward a little bit more here. We've done this. I had no idea. It's almost unbelievable. It might seem unbelievable to you, but it's happening all the time. Right here in the capital. It's very difficult selling something you can't see, you know. Very difficult indeed. Thank you. That will do. Okay, we missed nothing. Wait. Why is there no music? We have digressed rather too much already. Yeah, no kidding. I concur. Though if my learned friend wishes to become an expert in gas, I believe the subject will suit him well. To your new career in nothingness. Thank you so much. Oh, good. We still get to do things. Yeah. To the next useless statement that's got nothing to do with the case. Truth be told, tea my wife says that for me is a little sketchy at times.
Hold it!
You mean it's poisoned? That's right. It's happening a tiny few times now. I'm sorry, what? It's always days like this one when I don't get any wages. I get in a team time, see? And I see her doing it. My wife. She gets that devilish look on her face. She slips some white powder into my cup. And you drink it anyway? I was brought up proper, I was. Someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it. And what happened to you? What did it taste like? It was god-awful, believe you me. Salty as hell. So maybe it was just salt? Who puts salt in coffee? Is that a thing? Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt. No! So she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable. Let's move on, please. That judge is just like, shut up already. If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? Does that mean that if the victim can be shown to have ingested something else, you change your leaning? Huh? Sorry? What? What's that now? Oh, I was just saying, if the victim did actually eat or drink something else on that night. What's the matter with you? Sorry? I said, if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? Haven't you been listening to me at all? I feel there's an English expression about a pot and a kettle that's appropriate here. Compared to the other jurors who don't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all. Yeah, no kidding. It would seem that this elder gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intently. I suppose. Trouble is, he has selective hearing? Exactly. But still, this juror may well be the key to the breakthrough we so desperately need. I'm sorry, what? Hopeless, blah, blah, blah. Is this all I've got? We got some weird stuff going on here. Blah, 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 blah. No need. I know exactly what I'm doing. I just don't know what I should be doing. Alright, let's review. Okay, this is too vague to be worth anything. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. Huh. I mean, surely I must pit this guy against someone. Costs a fortune, blah, blah, blah. I'm a little stumpered here. I'm not sure if I should be doing something else or doing more pressing or what. I mean, even the judge was like, hey, get back on topic, which I can't blame him, but all these statements are worthless. Gas doesn't come for free. I mean, technically these two statements are at odds, even though they have absolutely nothing to do with the case. I agree that I mean, these statements are at odds, but who cares? I'm gonna pit anyway because they're the only ones I can think of that are actually contradictory, but I wouldn't be surprised if the judge just keeps chewing me out for being off base, because, again, who cares? The music keeps going, therefore I have screwed up. My lord, as foreman of the jury, I'm going to ding this man. Get your facts straight. Thought I did. Yeah. I still contend that they can be pit against each other. I'm just going to assume they wouldn't let me because it was worthless. But this guy, he's the only one I've actually managed to change something out of. He's talking about tea. I don't think anyone else is even talking about tea at all. If nothing else past the victim's lips, there's no other explanation. Sketchy tea. I mean, I feel like maybe these two, just because partly of the way that Naruhodo and Suzuto were actually talking about them. The old dude was flagged up, and the third dude really hasn't. He's the only guy that's changed his statement into anything useful. And then you're in real trouble, which might explain things? I don't know. We're still arguing, like it says officially that he was poisoned by strychnine. Is that a gassy thing? Maybe I need to do more pressing and there'll be more pursuable things that just pop up for no good reason. The foreman doesn't really have anything specific enough to be useful. Are we going to postulate that Pretenshi was actually blowing into the pipes? I'm not really sure how that will explain why you get poisoned or how you get poisoned. Have to be careful about not inhaling, obviously. Let's try it. This is a Hail Mary, but that did it. Oh wow. Okay. All right. They did. Sure. What he said. 2 statements to your fur counsel. Okay, spell this out for me, Naruhodo, because even I'm not following this quite right. Juror number 6. Did you hear what juror number 3 just said? What? Yes, of course. I heard a bumbling about something or other. There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume's tea did, in fact, in a manner of speaking, pass the victim's lips on the night in question. What? What explanation? I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene to see if there were any traces of poison there? I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time, but the mouth of a gas pipe. Scotland Yard have enough to do without exploring such irrelevance. Hold it! Oh, you were holding it. What a piece of work is a man! Yeah, you would try to distract us if you didn't like it, would you? What are you trying to say, Mr. Pretenshi? What speakest thou? Prithee, is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir. I would know nothing about strange. Please ignore my horse dance. I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that's how the poison came to enter your body. Good Lord. Are they tasty then? Gas pipes? Is that what you're saying? Or is the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him, For shame, madam, speaking thy fancy. I assure you, I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes. This is no summation examination. This is a farce. You're not supposed to talk during... Shut up. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponese friend's conjecture. You're nothing but conjecture today. What are you even on about? To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips on the pipe that feeds it, he would have to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. How many glasses can I smash in a minute? There is no possible proof that the man did as you say. It's true. I have no proof that Mr. Pretenshi put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions... Mr. Pretentious has been doing something in front of that lamp on his wall. And I have evidence to prove that. All right, you've got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself. Shouldn't this be obvious? So would I. Let's see this evidence, then. Now that I've gotten the jury's ear, I need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that time and time again, Mr. Pretentious stood in front of his gas lamp. Pretty friggin' obvious. That's kinda, yep.
Take that!
Take it. Take it right in your butthole. What the? These are, wait, what are they called? Oh yeah, skin prints that were found at the scene. Skin prints, counsel. I've never heard of such things. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however. My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I had to do a double take there, see if the name was right. It reveals all the places that Mr. Pretentious touched in his room. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's black magic, isn't it? What? Well, if anyone can invent something like this, it's that great Holmes fellow, that's for sure. I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating. We found skin prints in many places that you would expect, on the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Pretentious also appeared to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here. Around the hanging picture there, indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible. Well, I wonder, could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps? At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and you would find yourself directly in front of... I don't believe it. The gas lamp. Maybe that was me talking, I'm not sure. Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious. It's clear that Mr. Pretentious has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp. Right, what have you been up to, you nut? That's what I said. Oh, now you're going to be quiet. Now you're not going to quote your ass off. Come on, get flowery. I'd asked the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement. Did we present? No, we didn't even pit juror number 4. We haven't even pointed out the contradiction between 3 and 6 yet. I was waiting for that. It's like, this is a stretch, but, you know. I was waiting to see what the story was going to be, and we're not getting a story. Me? What did I say? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. Sorry while I knocked my mic around. And now, if you'll recall juror number 3's statement... What? Me now? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights in the gas stove to go out and gas to start leaking into the rooms. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is, if Mr. Pretentious were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will. Dude's got to have a set of lungs on him to do that. Crikey! Are you suggesting that the man purposely caused the gas to... Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination, kind of like I said before, shut your hole, I must toast my learned friend's utter disregard for the letter of the law. What is the meaning of this, Lord Van Zeeks? The curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints, not admissible? Clearly that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case. But it's an exciting new forensic technique developed by a great detective. It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. Dude, going for the jugular here. Certainly, even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Holmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence. Hold it. Please, my lord, if I may. Miss Susanoo, It was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wished to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene as a tool by which to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Oh, she's got you there. She's using yeah. She's talking like she's just, yeah. And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree. So we're not formally presenting it as evidence, but we'll be happy to let it influence all the jurors and use it to leverage to just keep going because, we want to know what the answer is, right? Sure we do. Come on, jurors. Don't you want to know? Don't you want to find out? There we go. Oh, you're right. Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3. You're a bro. Oh, yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation results sound absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what that shady actor fellow has to say about the shady handprints. Well, that's 2. Not too great just yet. What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy. Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise. No, wait. You heard his lordship. It's not fair. Dinkum evidence. Dinkum, I say. Dinkum. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. If just one more juror changes his or her mind, Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue. Thank you, Miss Suzuto, but I couldn't have done it without you. Oh no, it's you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success. Oh, dude is sweating. Huh. Why, Mr. Pretenshi, you seem to be losing your composure. I wonder why that is. Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it. Very well. Continue, counsel. Okay, now what? Oh, you have changed. Gas doesn't come for free. Oh, we got 3. Let's... Do we press again? Do we hope for another pursuit of some different kind? I don't feel like pressing people. I can't imagine we press people that have already changed their minds. Let's see if this guy has anything different to say. All the evidence, you say. Oh, I can't skip. It's all pointing to the Japanese man with the big mustache. Why can't I skip? It's not letting me skip, so I think there might be something new in here. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events of the night in question. Ah, here's the new text. What do you make of that? What? Your so-called skin prints? Yeah, this is new. Okay. It's an exciting new forensic investigation developed by the great detective himself. Isn't that sweet? The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Pretenshi had indeed put his mouth through the gas pipe on the night in question, bam. It can't be denied that there was a possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes, I won't deny that it's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly said, we should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides, yeah, even if the fellow had been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? Oh, if you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance. You do make a very valid point, sir. What? Oh, that's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No, wait. I'm sorry I pressed this guy. Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is. Just leave our nationality out of this, please. Why is everybody so racist? Mr. Naruhodo, if we can't substantiate our position, I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may well change them back. Ah, dicks. What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give here? Can I show that Mr. Pretenshi really did blow the gas pipe on the night in question? I mean, Soseki talking about the pilot light? Because that's where we got, that's what led us down this path. I mean, that's what led down my path. We haven't figured it out in the trial yet. I have supporting testimony then? Because of Soseki? Soseki can make the claim that his pilot light's been going off. I'm not sure what it'll be worth since he's the defendant. I don't think we have any evidence. Let's give it a try. No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it. Aha. What's this? Testimony? Oh, that's incredible. Whose testimony? Soseki. It's all connected. Everything is linked. I think I picked the right thing. A person whose testimony revealed details about the gas and the Gerdab residence that night. I mean, could that be Gerdab himself? Gerdab just mentioned this thing's flickering, though. Soseki's gas light is actually going off, so let's try tossing him out there. Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume himself. The defendant? What? At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following. My lodgings, there's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Even on that fateful night it happened, when I returned from Mr. Prudenti's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed, but before long, the stove went out, and someone tried to kill me, is what I yelled at my intercom. On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not? Good golly! So that Pretenci fella blew air into the gas pipes to make the man's stove go out on purpose? Now hold your horses here. Why would he do that? Well, he is sweating up a storm if that counts or anything. Mr. Foreman, what is it, man? We cannot allow judgment to be passed while this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet, however, you must surely agree there's more to this case than beats the eye, Transformers! Ah! Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic, first and foremost. I hate you all. As four jurors leaning toward not guilty, my lord, we've overturned the decision, just like we always do. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue. As the defense has rightly indicated, the summation examination is concluded with a majority of jurors altering their decisions. 2 jury members now called guilty, 4 now called not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted, and in accordance with the law of this land, I hereby order the continuation of the trial. Bloody hell. Mr. William Pretenci. My lord, how can thy humble Pretenci serve thee? What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination? So God mend me, I do solemnly swear, I recall aught of either the lamp or the pipe. Put your handprints of mine a tiny mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh? Well, you just brained someone again. I'm done with this. I am going to the nearest bar. I am getting drunk. I am not coming back. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already, juror number 5. Oh, me! As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from this self-professed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains, at this time, unestablished conjecture. Like my entire case, you would all do well to remember that. Not the part about my case being entirely conjecture. Don't forget that part. But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of gas pipe feeding that lamp in Mr. Pretenci's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there... What appears to be extremely simple is my Nippity's friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were required. Oh, right. Therefore, it should be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. But I didn't think of that. In any case, Counsel, I failed to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you describe. Why on earth would this man have wanted to blow air into the gas pipework where he lived? I still feel like we know this. There's only one possibility that I can think of, and that is to use the leaking gas to commit murder. Are we going straight for Ross? I can't imagine we are. Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end? The answer couldn't be simpler. Now we've unraveled the mystery thus far. Mr. Potentially wanted to end the life of Suki. Oh God, now he's over here dancing. If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anybody noticing. I live around these parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time. Mr. Gerdeb, the landlord, has a large fireplace on his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Potentially was trying to end. Outrageous! I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. What's up, asshole? Got nothing to say? Mr. Natsume isn't the victim in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder. Wait. Run those words by me again?
Objection.
Wasn't the defendant in this case would probably be more appropriate? The accused is actually the aggravated? Interesting. Oh, he isn't the villain. Okay, not the victim. That makes more sense. Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. Why? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison. Oh. On the mouth of the pipe? Yep. The question then arises is who put it there? Who did put it there? Was it Worker Bee Guy? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas pipes and his intent to kill. Yeah, that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison? So now we must ask ourselves, how could anyone have known of Mr. Potential's murderous designs? You mean to suggest? Naturally, the sole possible answer to that question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. That's a roundabout argument. Whatever Mr. William Potentially may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potential lethally poisoned attack. And the only person who could possibly have perpetuated this assault, that attack, is the accused, Mr. Natsume. The defense counsel theorizes have failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, the suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? I'm going to get thrown against the back wall, aren't I? Oh, yep, there it is. That's it. That's the one. Still getting very contrived here. Still, you got no evidence, but you demand so much from me. How did he manage to turn that around on me so fast? Because you're stupid. Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may well change their leanings against us again. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage. What advantage? Well, it would seem that somebody put poison in the gas pipe in Mr. Potenchi's room. So we must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt. Who? You mean name the true culprit? Oh, dickholes. I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all. Really? Usually when we get to this point, there's someone who's really clear and obvious. I got nothing. As it happens, one possible culprit... The worker dude? Worker bee? Worker guy? Worker fella? One possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence. The poison. It's all pointing to a particular person now. The prosecution calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. I'm not going to give him the opportunity. Oh, don't you worry. Crap, just like we thought. There is one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The hell? The true culprit of this crime. The true culprit. A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives. My Nipponese friend. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already. I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax. Thank you. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? I don't frickin' know. You're dead. You weren't there. I feel like... one of the two of these, because it's getting back at them for stealing gas? I don't know why they would suspect him of blowing in the pipes, but who the hell knows? Japanese scholar, blah, blah, blah. Not you. I don't get to look at the evidence either. I just got to throw a name out there. It didn't even give me a choice. I'm a little bit stumpered here. Do I want to throw... Because I'm not sure that Beardo has ever actually been in his apartment. So-called true culprit. I don't actually know. I guess what they're saying is it wouldn't be Potenchi. We can try doing process of elimination here. One of these two... Do I want to throw out Worker Bee guy? It might be wanting me to say her. Not because there's any particular reason, but because she was in the area. Let's throw this one out there. That's looking like a no. You claim this person is the true culprit. Highly suspicious, I would say, yes. Perhaps, my learned Nipponese friend, you should turn those wide eyes of suspicion on yourself. What? It seems to me that your recklessness reasoning makes you far more dangerous than anyone else. A very dangerous man indeed. Oh, that's a health point down. Mr. Naruhodo, please, you must concentrate. I was trying to. Then you must concentrate harder. Ugh, harsh. I can't even inspect the evidence. That's annoying. I put out their Beardo guy. Am I going to say her? I was naming a bunch of stuff. Connections to Thunder blood keep that really are inside the keep. Do I want to toss her out there just for the heck of it? I got nothing. I wish I could see the, like... Hang on a second. Let's review a bit here. True culprit. So is this supposed to be the person? Poison on the gas pipes. Who can get into his apartment to put poison on the gas pipes? I'm going to throw out Viridian just because, I don't know. I'm doing process of elimination. I don't really even know why she's here still. But it's not Garadeb. I mean, my secret... I would want to throw Pretenti up there, but it sounds like that's not what they're looking for. Let's just Hail Mary this and try you. The name of the person responsible... Is that the right answer? Why? Why would that be the right answer? The name of the person responsible for the poison that affected Mr. Pretenti is, I believe, Miss Viridian Green. Miss Viridian Green. Miss Viridian Green. I'm sorry, I was spacing out for a second there. I was just... I was just thinking how easy crime would be. Just... I'm confused. I'm confused. Just, I don't think... I do feel as though I've heard that name in the recent past, Council, but I don't remember where. It was literally 2 days ago. Miss Viridian Green, the woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add. Oh yes, of course, Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe. But I heard she regained her composure 2 days ago. Did she even have a chance to poison the pipes again? And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Pretenti's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True, on the night in question that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in the hospital unconscious. So on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible. But still, I'm not done bluffing my butt off yet. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in the hospital yesterday. Oh, is this going to be about the poison that was in the bottle? And we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison. Is that the connection? That seems a bit weak. Good gracious, she had poison. And there's another little fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. What the hell is that? The defense requests that she be brought into the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court. Tell me, Mr. Pretenti. Oh, my lord, prithee, or pray, what be thy bidding? Are you acquainted with Miss Green? Eh? What? No, never heard of her. Judging by the look on Mr. Pretenti's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least, not by name. What's that supposed to mean? As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friend's farce through to its conclusion. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you for indulging my farce. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here. Yes, Miss Viridian Green. Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient. Very well, I grant the request. Excellent. Excellent, I hope. The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say, but at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. And also unsubstantiated. Let's just keep that in mind. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned. Do I hit the to be continued already? Ah, dicks. I'm gonna be honest. I'm starting to get a little bit fatigued from all the streaming today. Over 4 hours of Corpse Party, and then a whole bunch of this. I don't want to do this. It is only 2 hours, but that's all. That's over 6 hours of streaming today. I think I'm gonna save the last bit until Monday. Again, not my favorite thing to do, but I got some stuff I got to take care of tomorrow. It is Thanksgiving weekend. I got plans on Saturday. I do not have plans on Monday. So the Corpse Party will be on Twitch again, but more importantly, this will wrap up on Monday. And it will wrap up on Monday because it'll be the last part. I was hoping to do both parts today. I could probably muscle through it if it weren't for the game I was streaming earlier today. But I think I will call it there. So we will do that. There's some other stuff coming up next week. There's actually a collab being planned, which is kind of exciting. It's one of the more interesting ones that I've gotten to be a part of. It's one that certainly has more thought put into it than the impromptu ones I've done before. Not that those were bad, but yeah, we might have something fun for you. So keep an ear out for that. But otherwise, we will get back to this on Monday, and then Friday we'll probably start the new case 3. We will be playing Terraria on Sunday, more Corpse Party over the week on Twitch, and possibly some other horror-related stuff. There were some other things I wanted to do this week that I never got to around to for reasons. I want to play more Melty Blood, absolutely, so we may just have a Melty Blood week. We may just play that in the spare time and have a few Melty Blood streams go up. We'll see. But if you want to know what's going on, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, keep an eye on the Twitter, watch Twitch. Make sure that you are connected on all the platforms so that you know what's coming up, I mean. And again, just have that interaction. You know, I get a lot more chatting on Twitch than I do here, which is understandable. But you know what? If you manage to catch a stream, speak up, say hi, especially if it's one of the Hangout streams like Terraria or something. But anyway, take care. Thanks for watching. See you guys around.